This looks dangerous. What's up, guys? My name is Babbling Brook, and I'm going to do a nice little review of Iron Lung in the comforts of my own bathtub. Mark was just as wet with all of that blood, so I might as well join him. Not with blood, but with a very nice, warm bath, at least. So, solidarity. So I was both kind of, impressed and, I know my expectations of this movie were... It's weird because it was high and low at the same time because this is an indie produced film. It only had a budget of $3 million with a very simple concept. Now I'm a person that really loves film and film language, so for it to be, oh god, I gotta say, Iron Lung probably is one of my top 5 favorite films of all time, and that includes both live action and animation. It's that good. So without giving any spoilers, this horror is definitely it's a combination of a lot of beloved classics of horror. You have psychological horror, you have eldritch horror, sci-fi horror. It just combined every concept of horror into this this beautiful little love letter. And that's what makes it so impressive is you can feel that it's a love letter to not only every kind of horror game out there, every kind of horror media, but it's a love letter to us, to himself, and everything that he's built. And I have nothing but respect for it, and it's fucking amazing. But I gotta give ourselves a little pat on the back. We opening night, we grossed this movie to $8 million on day one. That is insane, guys. So Mark just boldly stated that he had put the most amount of fake blood ever in a film. And so I'm just thinking, okay, there better be oodles and oodles of scenes with all this fake blood. So give me the fake blood, Mark. Where is it? And what I love about the film is that it gives you a nice slow buildup, and then it just explodes into a blood explosion. You see that 80,000 gallons of fake blood, and that man drowns in it. He fucking drowns in it. Remember that picture a while ago of him in the hospital with an eye infection? Yeah, that was totally fucking worth it. I mean, I feel so bad for you that happened to you. I mean, it must have sucked, but he was in it. It was in every orifice of Mark. All right, but I can't go on any further without talking about some spoilers. So, spoiler warning. What I personally love is so I have a film degree where I can really appreciate really good film structure and film language. Holy shit, was I not expecting it to oh yeah, it's so. How do I describe this in a short amount of time? That's the hard part because I don't want to be in this tub for very long. Now, the story really encapsulates a lot of elements from various different medias of horror. Everything from the classics, it's got Dead Space vibes, Amnesia, Five Nights at Freddy's, shockingly, and one of my favorites of all time, which is Soma from Frictional Games. The elements that are in there is just... It blows my mind of how much this came in such a beautifully wrapped submarine package. You know what's not fun is having nearly 2 feet of hair that is as thick as mine be very wet and then suddenly go very cold. I am wearing shorts, by the way, just so, no flashy, and this is YouTube appropriate. I am wearing clothes, I'm just wet. All right, so let's talk about what I really, really love, and then I gotta talk about some things that I guess could be improved, because Mark is always a guy that's looking to me improvement. You can praise him all you want, but he's always looking to, he knows he will never be perfect, and I love that about him, is that there's always room for improvement. So for a nice little review package for you, Mark, I will say everything that I love about the film, and then just give you some small little, what could be improved. But it's not really that big of a deal, so trust me. So what I love about this is that the whole story is you're trapped in this submarine, just like Mark. I think there's only 95% of the film takes place of you being stuck in this submarine with Mark, or Simon as his character's name, Convict Simon. And what I love is that it never feels boring. It's definitely slow, but that's the intention. You never feels boring from a cinematography standpoint. There's only so many shots you can do while in the confines of a tiny little space like that, but every shot feels fresh. I think probably one of my favorite shots is It was towards the end where it's Mark backing away slowly from the terminal as he's looking at the porthole, and there's just this delightful look of horror on his face, probably one I've never seen from him before. It's just a beautiful combination of dramatic reveal, tension, and just gorgeous acting on Mark's part. And then probably second favorite shot is just that incredible shot of like this fucking like Event Horizon shit. He's emerging from this giant vat of blood, staring up at this like weird eldritch horror thing, and just like what is happening. Now a lot of people say that it was slow and very slow paced, and for that I have to say, get off fucking TikTok and actually watch a real goddamn movie for once. I have a list of like some movies for you that you could probably learn to appreciate some great cinematography, film language, basic 101 shit. Watch these. Slow pace is fine unless if you set the tension, and it just exploded at the end. And what I love is that that's the intention, that's the drive. We're meant to feel suffocated, tense. It's disorienting, but in a great way. So I will say, go in with the intention of not it being like, oh, look at me, Markiplier, it's gonna be big and bombastic, oh, in space. It's a totally tone shift of Mark just exploring some other avenue of his, that lovely horror itch of his, and he's like, you know what, I built up so much of like, you know, knowledge of horror and how to do it right. I want to do no jump scares. There's no jump scares in this horror movie, and that's what I love about it so much. I was kind of like anticipating some elements of jump scares, but no, it was just tension, anguish, agony, build up, and an explosion of blood and horror. It was beautiful. I think probably one of my favorite shots to kind of really encapsulate the love language of this film, and just understanding how to make film correct and get the story across, is the scene where Simon, Mark, is talking to the captain through the porthole, and there is blood dripping down constantly down the window. And what I love is that the blood is it's not coming down in like a huge glob. It's coming down specifically like bars, like prison bars against the image of the captain, signaling that she is also trapped here with us. She is trapped here in her own little prison of, I need to find answers, and I'm sacrificing people in order to get these answers. It says so much about her character just on that visual gimmick alone, and that is beautiful film language. The concept of using an X-ray cannon the entire time, like when watching Mark play the game, I was just like, yeah, how would you see through an ocean of blood? How you're able to take pictures, and it makes sense to do that. It's a very powerful X-ray gun, and I feel so bad for the fucker, the welder who gets and I'm like, oh yeah, fuck, he's dead. He's deader than the guys at Chernobyl. I think that was David himself, or was that Jack? I can't remember. Sean. I forget which actor that was the guy with the welder. Unfortunately, his face was very obscure, so I couldn't tell if that was either David, the developer of the game, or if that was actually Sean, who was the welder character. But I'm like, ooh, Mark gave you cancer. And I will say, just for all the fan service, you do get at least a short little scene of Mark shirtless, and that was a bit of fan service there, but I'd still fucking love it. And then what I also love, in the exact same scene, Mark drinks straight up like rubbing alcohol. Now I'm just thinking, Simon the character, I'm like, I get it, you know, you're probably going to die down here, probably would drink some alcohol just to kind of relieve yourself. It's rubbing alcohol. I would not recommend drinking rubbing alcohol. I'm not catering to that. But I'm also thinking, like, in the background of my mind, I'm just like, Mark has an alcohol allergy. He should really not be drinking that. That would kill him. One drop of that, and that would kill him. Just a little love letter for me. I love the game Soma from Frictional Games, the same guys who made Amnesia: The Dark Descent. The fact that this eldritch horror being is kind of like almost like godlike, you know, the creation and why the silent rapture kind of happened or something. I love how we don't know exactly what's going on. That's kind of the point. But what I love is that it somehow it reaches into the submarine through blood. and it just takes hold of Mark, and it just holds his arms in like a split thing there with the tubing. I can't use both arms because I don't want to drop the microphone. But then he's just kind of stuck like that, and then it just starts deforming his face, and the makeup was insane. It goes all up his body, and it reminds me so much of the WoW from Soma, and that's so good. The makeup was insane on that. Probably my favorite, I guess you could say, horror element where I'm just shaking my head and closing my eyes is when Mark has to go into the tunnel to go get the black box of the submarine, and it's already filling with blood. I'm like, oh fuck, no. That's one of my biggest fears, is to be in a tight space and it's starting to fill up with liquid. I would have never done what he just did. So the blood level is rising, and he's trying to get to the black box and then go back out. And then the shot where it's like, it shows the hole where he's supposed to come out of, and it's already overflowing with blood. And I'm just like, he is fully submerged in that blood. That man is fucking drowning in blood right now. He's drowning in blood for the sake of art and for us. And that's just... Oh! Also, I can't stop listening to the soundtrack. The soundtrack of this movie is so fucking good. I think my favorite song has to be Fate Welded Shut. I can't stop listening to that song. It sounds like it's when the beat really hits, it sounds like there's this like warping plastic wrap that's just... It's so... It itches a part of the back of your brain in the most pleasant way possible. That's my favorite song from the whole album. And the album has like 59 tracks. Mark, you've captured a film with this beautiful sense of dread, claustrophobia, and just disorientation. Those are the three best words I can really use to describe the whole story. Is just claustrophobia, dread, and the disorientation is my favorite part. When you have no idea of how long you've been down there or what the state of like what everything is, and you do it in such a beautiful way, that's beautiful. Even he doesn't know how long he's been down there, and he's losing his mind. He's talking to a voice from the speaker, and the speaker shows the wire disconnected, and then when he's finally talking to Ava, his captain up there, and it shows that it's still connected, it's like, what is real right now? What is real? We're questioning the narrative of the main character here, and we're just like, what the fuck is going on? We'll say there's some things that could be worked on, some small little things that I thought could be worked on, and it's really not that major. It's only two things. There was one scene where there's a hull breach, and the speaker system is saying hull breach, hull breach, hull breach, but it's crackling and disoriented, so it kind of sounds like hull breach, hull breach, hull breach. And I let it go on for a solid 2 minutes of just hearing constantly, hull breach, hull breach, hull breach. And I could not understand what it was trying to say until I had to turn to my partner and be like, yo, what's the computer fucking saying? And at least he was able to get it, being like, it's saying hull breach. And I'm like, oh. That might be a little important to understand that there's a whole breach in the submarine here. That would amp up the horror to understand that there's a whole breach in the submarine. That's a small little minor thing. That's a small little audio thing that could be fixed. And again, the second part that I have to complain about is only a small little technical audio thing. It was really quiet. There are times where I had to strain to really listen, and what I love is that the theater that I was in, it was covered in fans wearing all kinds of Markiplier merchandise, Unis Honest merchandise, so you could tell like everybody in this theater was going to be quiet and really pay attention. And so even with a very silent, attentive theater, I still had to strain to hear, like really hear some of the dialogue that was going on. The gain could have gone up a little bit more on certain moments. Minor technical thing. There was some dialogue that was a bit hard to understand, especially when the voice, and there's like so many different like layers of sound playing the voices of like the character from the SM8. And then you just have the captain's voice also smearing in there. And then you have like like the voice of the actual entity talking at the same time. And it was starting to get very hard to pick out certain words of what everybody was saying. Like, I know it's supposed to be discordant and disorienting, but I really it could have benefited from either subtitles or it could have been a little louder. Minor technical thing that I only have to complain about, and it's just only audio. But other than that, like, Mark, if you want to take that for what it is, like, that's only the small little things you could work on. This is your first ever big theatrical film, and that's the only thing I have to complain about. Just, man, I can't wait to see what this does to Hollywood, to shake it up, to show that films, big ass fucking films that spend more than $10 million on their budget are being overthrown by a YouTuber, and I say that in like the most respectable way possible, with a $3 million budget, and it's number one in America. It was number one Friday. It was number one Saturday. And I betcha on the day of this where I'm recording this on Sunday, I betcha it's number one on Sunday. Beating out everything else in the roster. Beating out Sam fucking Raimi. I bet you every single person who doubted you, Mark, is just pissing themselves right now. Just angry that they never trusted or believed in you. You had your entire fucking fan base rooting for you. We all really believed in you. And regardless of like of how it was gonna be, we were all gonna fucking watch it and maybe watch it again because it's you. We all love you. But as someone from a film background like me, who went to film school, loves films, this movie is in my top 5. Nay, it's probably my number 1 favorite film of all time. And I'm saying that as somebody who is in solidarity being wet with you in the comforts of her own bathtub. I would have filled this with blood, but then I realized my landlord might not like that. My plumbing wouldn't like that. But if you haven't seen it, God, I'm going to go see this film again. I got to go see this film again. I think after I'm done editing this and I post it, I think I might just go to the cinema by myself and just go watch this again. Oh, I completely forgot about this. So yesterday I went to go see Iron Lung with my partner, and I had brought my fucking Markiplier body pillow. The one that's signed by Maggie Robertson, where he's shirtless. And everybody in the theater loved that. They're like, oh, Markiplier's here. Here's some funny little things I recorded while at the theater with Mark. I had a good time, and I think Mark the body pillow had a good time as well. But thank you, Mark. You made a really badass film, and I'm glad you shook up Hollywood. I'm so fucking proud of you, because fuck Hollywood. I've had so many nasty things come out of Hollywood sometimes, and you just went in there, kicked down the doors, and were like, I'm gonna make a movie without you! That is such a Markiplier move, and I love it. It's just such aggressive love language. Alright, I'm gonna get out of this tub and get dried off. Mark, you better be dry as well. Or not dry, depending on how you interpreted this review. I'm not going to tell you how to feel or anything if you're wet or dry during this review, but either way, I'm going to go get dry. But if you want to help me individually, I'm very close, like stupidly close to 100K subscribers. I think I'm sitting at only like 98K. So, and I've been stuck at 98K for like a year. So if I could just get like just a little 2K push to get just the play button. I don't want much in life. But if I could get to 100K, that would be fucking awesome if you could help me get there. My nice Markiplier merch. You can go find it here on the store. It's one of my animations. No big deal. Other than like just the usual, like the video, make a comment of your favorite part in the movie, subscribe. I have a Patreon if you want to go to it. All right, I'm going to go get dry. Bye.